Hey Warpugs, so today I'm going to be checking out something from the Patreon request line. If I look tired, I'm about to fall over. This is from NISLT, this was requested by Troy in the Patreon request line, and this is the lore of Team Fortress 2, Part 1. Now, here's the thing, okay? I played Team Fortress 2. I know a little bit about Team Fortress 2. I don't know nearly as much as I probably should considering the amount of hours I sunk into this game. But we're about to find out some. Now, here's the thing, okay? Sniper, spy, pyro. That's the combo. Anything else is just uncivilized. I'm just saying. Now, I know some of you are really big into heavy and medic and, you know, that thing that's called the soldier, but and of course engineer and scout. Who cares? Warpugs, this is the first thing I've ever seen from NISLT, so be sure to like this video, and I'm going to be putting all the links in the description down below. If I look tired, Warpugs, I'm blasted. I am wiped out. Let's jump right into this. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's wake me up a little bit. And nobody better start posting it, like lyrics from Evanescence down below. Just don't do it. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Just not Evanescence lyrics. Let's go. Some of the best music, period, okay? Yep. Let's go.
Team Fortress 2, what do you know about it? Well, it was made by Valve, and you know Valve, they don't make games anymore.
No.
But let's talk about a game that they did make.
Oh.
Team Fortress 2. It's a first-person shooter developed by Valve based on Team Fortress Classic by Robin Walker, which was a mod for Quake. In the game, you control 9 classes, being the Soldier, the Scout, the Pyro, the Demoman, the Heavy Weapons Guy, the Engineer, the Medic, the Sniper, and the Spy. They each have their own specific gameplay style and subclasses, but the gameplay is not what I'm going to talk about. What if I told you that this game, the Hat Simulator, sparked Shakespearecles, the strongest writer known to man, who also invented the 2-story building and rocket jumping, or that Abe Lincoln was also a mercenary who mastered rocket jumping,
Wait,
and then also
wait, this is actual lore? Bro, no. No, 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 no. What? Oh god, this is gonna be stupid. Let's go.
So invented stairs because Shakespearecles forgot to build stairs because people just rocket jumped up to the 2nd story of their house. The lore of TF2 is rich and deep and may even be Valve's most complex yet.
Okay.
Even more so than the Half-Life series. So let me take you back to the very beginning to get you filled in on the wacky world that this game takes place in.
Alright.
I'll be covering things from the first recorded history of the in-game events up to the most recent TF2 comic. So, let me get started. It's the 1500s, and in Europe, everything sucks. However, one man will change that. Shakespearecles is the strongest writer to ever live and can bench press over 700 British pounds. He invents rocket jumping and the 2-story building. Then in the 1700s, Nicholas Crowder sets a voyage to Australia with everyone else that was banished by Britain.
Okay.
But when he sees how hot and awful it is there, he turns his boat around. Landing in the South Pole, he takes the new name of Old Nick. After that, every year on December 18th, he makes his way back to Australia to judge whether kids have been naughty or nice. The naughty ones get to be abducted to his workshop to work on hats and weapons, while the nice ones get the gift of not being abducted.
You know what? That seems legit, I'm just saying.
Later on in the late 1800s, in Scotland, a young man named Tavish de Groot accidentally destroys his orphanage when testing some explosives. This is when his real family finally comes back home, stating that all Demomen are put up for adoption until their skills manifest, which is a long-standing, cruel, and wholly unnecessary tradition within the Highland Demolition Men. Later on in his life, at the age of 10, his mom told him to go visit a castle of the nearby magician on All Hallows Eve. That's because the ghouls, ghosts, and otherwise magical beings that appear that night will have several jobs available, and when Halloween is over, they take and leave their jobs with them.
Okay.
This is when Tavish meets Merasmus, an all-powerful wizard who tells him to sweep his entire library in exchange for a nickel. Although Merasmus makes it very clear that this library holds a certain book full of evil tomes that nobody should ever look at, no matter how tempting. Hours pass, and after cleaning, Tavish encounters the Abominomicon, who persuades him to take a quick peek inside. Foolishly he does, and the book immediately haunts his eye, just because he can.
This is dumb. This is really dumb, but you know what? Okay, fine. Let's just go.
Fearing that the book will never shut up about his accomplishment, Merasmus casts a spell to help Tavish and get rid of him in the process, too.
What?
Later on, in 1822, in England, Zephaniah Neodemus Mann and his wife give birth to 3 children named Redman, Plutarch, and Greyman, respectively.
Okay.
Greyman is unfortunately born small and weak. He can also somehow speak. Right as his father's ready to get rid of him for being weird, he's kidnapped by an eagle. This was, of course, during the Great Eagle Scourge of 1822. Years pass, and
Of course, the Great Eagle Scourge
is forgotten about by pretty much everyone. Later on, Zephaniah is running a store titled Zephaniah Mann & Sons Munition Co. Quarterly Concern with his brother Silas and his 2 sons, Redman and Plutarch Mann. Meanwhile, over in America, big things are happening. George Washington invents America, with the help of Shakespeareocles, of course. However, this victory is overshadowed by the fact that George Washington was never able to fully become invisible, thus shaming him forever.
Sad.
During the Revolutionary War, Benedict Arnold commits the greatest crime in history by not eating soup. His last words were that he regrets not watching enough cartoons. It's now 1850, and Red and Plutarch are now adults. They were also basically idiots who despised each other ever since they were born for some reason. They convinced their father to buy up land and move to America. Zephaniah dreamed of turning their land into gravel mines to help with weapon manufacturing. However, upon arriving in America, not only did the land they purchased end up being nothing but useless desert, Zephaniah managed to contract every disease known to mankind. On his deathbed, he wrote his last will and testament on the skin that fell off of his body.
What?
To his maid, he left his mansion and stockpile of miracle gravel. To his best friend and partner, Barnabas Hale, he left complete ownership of the rebranded Manco. And to his sons, he left nothing.
There you go.
Nothing but the worthless land that they convinced him to buy. Also, just to add insult to injury, he split it between them, evenly, ensuring that they'd fight over it until they died. Zephaniah Mann's soul would not pass on, and he would later become a ghost that would haunt their nearby farmhouse.
Nice.
Silas Mann passed on shortly after his brother did, but just like his brother, his soul never passed on. It became the ruthless, bloodthirsty, horseless, headless horseman who haunts Mann Manor and the surrounding area in search of victims.
I'm gonna have a brain bleed over this, but let's go.
Nobody knows why.
I'm like seriously
Meanwhile,
struggling right now. Meanwhile, back in Australia, that sounds like a villain arc if I ever heard one, okay? Good God, let's go.
Ayers Rock and find what appears to be some sort of gold. However, it was much more than that. It was a special metal, later to be called Australium. It makes people...
It seems legit. Let's make some Iron Man suits out of it. You know, peace through strength, all that kind of crap. Let's go.
Strong, youthful, and incredibly intelligent. The Australians used this power to become far more advanced than the rest of the world, despite still being the same roughhousing oafs.
Okay.
Now, in the year 1870, Redman, wanting to take his brother's land for himself, hired a team of 9 mercenaries to steal the land. Little did he know, Plutarch did the exact same thing. 20 years later, in 1890, the gravel war continued with no end in sight. It was a constant stalemate. Plutarch, old and gray, hires a man by the name of Radigan Conager to build him a machine that would not only keep him alive, but to never let him die.
Oh, that's a good idea.
If he couldn't kill his brother, he would simply outlast him for it.
There you go.
Radigan agrees, but as he arrives back home and in his workshop, he meets a woman named Elizabeth. She tells him of Australia and what its full potential is, along with promising Radigan over 100 pounds of the stuff.
Okay.
She asks him to build the same life-extending machine for Redmond. Why? Nobody knows. Still, to this day, we have no idea. Maybe she was profiting off the war and she didn't want it to end.
Yes.
It's still unclear what her motives are. However, Radigan agrees, and the Mann brothers continue to live on well into the 1900s. Short break of trivia here.
Okay.
Despite being a mercenary, Abe Lincoln was still president and was still, unfortunately, shot in the back by John Towering Pillar of Hats Wilkes Booth. John sought to add Abe's hat to his...
What? Why? Why are we going down this historical route? What led to this?
collection and killed him.
How many drugs did Henry VIII take?
To get it. He was bravely killed when the son of Barnabas Hale, Bilious Hale, captured him and held him down to let people take turns shooting at him.
Nice.
Bilious stole John's hat as a trophy and proudly wore it until he died. During the Revolutionary War, William Prescott famously said the words, "Don't fire until you see the top of their heads." This, of course, was said because he famously only fired at poor people that did not possess hats of any kind.
Really?
During the 1800s, segregation was rampant against the hatted and the hatless. The Irish were often persecuted, often to them being poor and Irish. They had no hats to rest on their smelly, presumptuous, and unfortunate heads. Around the same time as when Francis, the Talking France, is introduced, with his vast knowledge of cinema and the task of judging the new Saxy Awards. But with that taken care of,
Okay.
back to the main story.
Okay.
The current year is now 1930.
Sweet.
The gravel war is still going on, and while the brothers continue to stay alive, their mercs haven't. So with
Okay.
the help of the newly founded TF Industries, 9 more mercenaries are enlisted to help fight in the war. These new mercs continue to fight until around 1986. They're too old, so they're tossed aside and replaced with the latest batch of mercs.
Yay!
These include Scout, Soldier, Pyro, Heavy, Demo, NG, Medic, Sniper, and Spy.
Yay.
Meanwhile, the son of Bilious Hale,
Saxton Hale!
has
Nice.
inherited his father's rights to Manco and continues to make hats, weapons, and other products for TF Industries. Team Fortress Industries is now run by Elizabeth's granddaughter, Helen, and her assistant, Miss Pauling.
Okay.
Saxton Hale is a tough as nails, damn near invincible man who runs things by the way he sees fit.
Sweet.
If he isn't punching animals to extinction just for fun, he's battling hippies, tigers, cougars, the mail company, nature itself, and especially old women.
Okay.
All while perfectly maintaining the company of Manco. They sell products and get in fights.
Okay.
He also has a nemesis by the name of Charles Darling, who invented the zoo and constantly battles Saxton over the right to kill animals. He also has a girlfriend named Maggie, who's just as insane and powerful as he is.
Well, you gotta have somebody, you know. You gotta have somebody. Somebody there for you to understand your trials and tribulations and trauma.
However, the mercs this time around aren't just idiots that fight because they're told to. They each have their own goal and personalities, so I'll speed through them really quickly.
Okay.
Scout, he's handsome, he's fast, and he's incredibly good looking. He's got 7 older brothers, and he doesn't know who or where his dad is. He's probably dead though.
Basically, kind of a big deal.
Soldier, rejected by every branch of the military during World War II, flew to Europe himself, learned how to fire rockets, and rocket jump by himself, and
Okay.
killed over 1,000 Nazis by himself.
There you go.
And didn't stop until 1949. Pyro? Nobody knows. Demo Man, the same Tavish de Groot from before. He lost his eye. He's a master of explosives, incredibly wealthy, and constantly buzzed.
There you go.
Makes me a good demo man? If I were a bad demo man, I wouldn't be sitting here discussing it with you now, would I?
You know, he has a point. He had a very good point, and I don't think people gave that enough credit. Okay? I don't think anybody gave him the amount of credit he deserved for that one line.
Heavy weapons guy. Or Misha, incredibly intelligent, several PhDs in Russian literature, incredibly strong, incredibly loyal, and knows a lot about what goes on behind the scenes. He likes to shoot his gun.
It costs $400,000 to fire this weapon for 12 seconds.
Engineer, or Del Conager, grandson of Radigan Conager, incredibly intelligent. He has over 11 PhDs. He's soft-spoken, but strong. Personally, he's my favorite class.
There you go.
Practical problems.
Medic, morbidly curious, sees healing more as a side effect to his experiments. He invented the metagun, and he is exceedingly smart.
Are you sure this will work?
I have no idea!
Yeah,
Sniper. A sniper
those are things that you want to hear.
trusts very few people, works for who pays him. He tries not to have emotions, hates spies, takes the shot.
I think his mate saw me.
Yes, he did.
Spy, never really was on your side. Very intelligent, very stealthy, master of disguise, may or may not be Scout's father.
All right.
Probably
Who's
is.
ready to go find this spy?
Right behind you.
Now the year is 1969. The war continues to go on as the newly founded Red Team, Reliable Excavation and Demolition, fights against the Blue Team, Builders League United. This marked
Oh
the
my
beginning of the
God.
era known as the Gravel Wars. Plutarch and Redmond are now very old. Their life-extending machines keep going, but are slowly failing. Meanwhile, Tavish de Groot and Jane Doe, aka Demo and Soldier, begin to form a very passionate friendship. This, however, frustrates Helen, who is, again, the administrator of TF Industries. She fears that the two of them will begin talking about their jobs and their boss. If they talk about work, they could talk about how similar their jobs are. Wanting to put a stop to this friendship, Miss Pauling visits Demo, who lives in a mansion with his mom. He's enjoying his morning off when Miss Pauling knocks on his door, asking him to kill his best friend, you know, as your employers do. Despite being shown a
Is that how you got the Highlander? God.
wonderful sword and various other weapons, Demo declines Pauling's request
Charge and
as he
charge.
values his friendship more. However, once Pauling tells him that Soldier had already agreed to betray him, he's left to stand there and contemplate what to do next.
Yeah.
Later that night, the administrator, attached to her messenger, visits Soldier, who of course tries to kill him. After failing to do so, she gives him the same proposition. Soldier of course disagrees, as he too values their friendship more than any other gun. Even when lied to about Demo agreeing to fight him, he still chooses not to go after his friend.
Good
That is
man.
until she shows him totally legit footage of Demo calling Soldier a civilian. That being the straw that broke the Soldier's back, he flips into a rage and ensures that he is a dead man. Soldier ended up winning the war between the two of them, although they ended up secretly making up and remain friends to this day.
Yay.
Once that mess clears up, an emergency arrives when Plutarch calls in an engineer to fix his machine and tells him the story of his grandfather. After giving him the blueprints that were buried with Radigan, Engie gets to work on repairing Plutarch's machine to make it run more efficiently. After finding the materials necessary to fix up Plutarch's machine, Engie also found some blueprints for various guns and weapons. Very handy.
Ooh.
Small footnote.
Okay.
It's around the same time that Saxon Hale invents the internet, a year earlier than he was supposed
Yay!
to. He also buys all of England. A second proclamation written by Abe Lincoln is also discovered, which
Okay.
details his love for arena mode. Saxon Hale also plans on building a Yeti park in a random jungle island. Everything is ready, except for the Yetis, of course, which have broken out. The Mercs go to capture them. They're split up and overwhelmed. Saxton himself appears and kills the Yeti. No more Yetis, though. No more park. Saxton instead turns it into a fighting park, where Mercs from all around the world can come to fight each other.
Yay!
It's unknown how well this turned out, or how long it lasted.
Okay.
I don't have a Yeti. It's just a fighting pack.
Also, it's around this time that the people of Two Fort began to publicly state their dislike and outright hatred of Red and Blue, given the constant warring and fighting over the land. The administrator seeks to hire a French filmmaker to make various videos regarding the team to make them more likable for the town.
Okay.
While this has unknown effects on the town,
Oh my
the team
God.
seems to enjoy talking about themselves. Well, at least Soldier and Scout do anyway. Sniper finds it very annoying, and the rest of the team find it very suspicious. The administrator later tells them that it was merely a surveillance exercise and it was nothing to worry about.
Okay.
Later that same year, after a brutal attack on Red Base, Medic made a scientific breakthrough with the invention of his metagun. While Heavy, as his very willing and helpful assistant, he was able to shatter modern medicine and create the first uber-charged heart. After practicing some medicine, Medic switched it on, and with Heavy's help, the prototype was a complete success, and Red was able to push back Blue and win the battle.
Yay! I guess.
However, his quick fix shortened out after his one Uber as a result, and Medic would later go on to refine the Medigun to make it much more reliable.
There you go.
A few months pass, and it's now December.
Oh my god.
Scout is on trial for blowing up a Mall Santa training facility with Soldier as his lawyer and Spy as presumably their ride home. As punishment for their crimes, Scout and Soldier are tasked with community service, acting as a Mall Santa and his elf.
What?
Spy, of course, sits this one out, as presumably he just supervises. Scout sets up a nice line for single moms, and Soldier gives one little boy the gift of manhood. Spy tries to reason with Miss Pauling to get them out of there as soon as she can, but later gives up as soon as he notices Soldier beating up little Jack's father.
There you go.
The promise of beating up his father, though, is interrupted with the sudden return of Old Nick.
Yay!
He exclaims to everyone that he has come to abduct their children for use in his workshop. I guess
The spirit of Australian Christmas. Let's go.
this means the children of Two-Ford are all little rotten brats. Scout is quick to fight back, while little Jack tells Spy that he's afraid. Spy naturally has a plan that he tells Jack about, while Soldier attacks Old Nick after Scout stuns him with the Rat Assassin.
Nice.
Old Nick is quick to recover and grabs Jack to take him back to his lair. Despite warnings from Scout, Jack stabs Old Nick in the neck, killing him instantly, and receives praise from Scout as being Spy's best kill, thinking that Spy was disguised as the child, of course. The real Spy returns with a camera crew to award Soldier and Scout the title of Smithmas Heroes.
Yay!
And all is well.
Oh, God.
After a successful mission of killing everybody and taking a briefcase, the guys get the weekend off from work and plan to spend it doing their own thing.
Hooray!
The exact opposite happens, of course, when NG and Medic make a terrifying discovery. The teleporters that they use so often on the battlefield, and for around the base, are shown to be giving bread tumors. This, of course, means that the gang has also been growing these tumors after using them for so many years.
Uh-huh.
Medic deduces that they only have
3 days to live.
and will all die of their tumors once that day passes. Spy gives an outstanding speech about how they need to make the most of their 70 hours left on the planet, and Scout gathers up their dying wishes. Scout, of course, did not do that, and took the opportunity to play a prank instead, infuriating everyone else, and especially Spy. Soldier also gets a bucket.
Does it say you want the bucket? Yes.
Yes.
Later in the night, Scout realizes his mistake and formally apologizes and asks for Spy's help in regards to getting a date with Miss Pauling.
Right.
That's the last thing he would ever want. He agrees and trains him for the next 3 days while Medic and NG continue to run tests on the bread and the tumors. Meanwhile, Soldier is doing something weird with the bread that we're not really sure what.
Yeah.
Once training is complete,
Seduce me.
Scout is a failure because they spent all that time training and not actually asking out Miss Pauling.
Right.
Congratulations. You're a failure.
In desperation, he pushes the briefcase alarm button, which naturally summons Miss Pauling to the scene to help defend the team and get their intelligence back. Don't you know? Pressing a button summons a Miss Pauling.
Yay!
Right at home. She shows up ready to fight and finds Scout, who has planned a prom for the two of them, while Spy,
Yay!
Soldier, and Demo watch the very pathetic situation. NG
Dude, that's sad. That's just so sad.
and Medic interrupt the show by informing the gang that only bread gets tumors. In fact, it isn't even tumors, but some sort of self-aware beauty mark that only metastasizes in an environment of pure wheat. So they're fine, just as long as nobody teleports any more bread. Soldier, of course, took his last 3 days on Earth as an excuse to do nothing but teleport bread, which puts Medic in a rather big state of panic. Meanwhile, infuriated with the false alarm, Miss Pauling is ready to storm off, which doesn't happen, as they're soon attacked by a bread monster, which formed as a result of Soldier's bread teleportation.
Uh-huh.
It really makes you wonder how nobody noticed or bothered to check up on Soldier.
Do you really need to ask these questions? Like, I don't think I need to ask these questions at all. It's a giant bread monster. In a world where Abraham Lincoln invented the second floor. I think I'm okay.
Very strange. Anyway, the bread monster demolishes Scout's dinner date plans, and the three of them fall into the blast pit. The rest of the team quickly arrives. Medic Ubers heavy, Pyro blasts the monster, Demo sets up explosive traps, NG setups a sentry, and Sniper picks off its tendrils from a distance. It's a real team battle. Though after getting trapped in the blast pit, by the blast doors being blocked by Miss Pauling's makeshift time bomb, they both realize that the inside of the bread monster, it's safe. It's safe to be inside there after one of Medic's doves is fine after being eaten.
Ooh.
Since, it's just bread. They jump inside and barely survive the explosion. Miss Pauling exclaims how much fun she had, and the two plan another date sometime in the future after Medic and Soldier relay the tumorless news. However, that would be the last time any fun was had for a long time.
I want to have fun.
Very soon, things would take a turn for the worse.
Okay.
Pile of corpses?
No.
Oh, you could help me yank the molars out of a box full of heads.
Noted it.
Okay, well, Friday I've got to kill somebody who pressed a briefcase alarm button.
Redman and Plutarch have been fighting for the last 150 years, and one day, they'd send each other letters, tear-stained even, about how they want to propose a truce.
Really?
They meet up at the Alamo after renting it and moving it to New Mexico to propose said truce. The two of them are tired of fighting each other and realize they never bothered to have kids to continue the Mann family legacy. Plutarch comes up with a plan to make one of them pregnant, which just baffles Redman with the sheer genius of the idea. That goes smoothly until the surprise return of Greyman, who murders their engineers and explains his origins to them.
Huh? I was raised by that eagle as if I was one of her own. Frail, helpless, I was fed grubs and mice alongside her other children, kept warm at night nestling her furry, feathery breast. And when I was strong enough, brothers, I ate her and all her children and crawled back to say, dude, really? You need some rest.
However, not very shocked or worried about their third brother coming back, they plan to go on with their initial idea of pregnancy after Redman comes back from being momentarily dead. However, Gray sees that him becoming permanently dead would be a better option. He kills both of his brothers, seeking out his next goal, conquering Manco.
Okay. Wait a minute. We make hats, guns, bats, bombs, bazookas, camera beards, comics magazine, portable, baccarat detectors, banners, swords, shields, and get in fights. Non-employees welcome for a guerrilla wrestling fight. What?
Hale finds out and tells the mercs that their new job is not fighting each other, but killing robots.
Okay.
For some reason, the robots also run on money, so they don't need to be worried about being paid, because he wasn't going to pay them anyway.
Oh.
Weird to think how they wouldn't even care that this is happening if they weren't being compensated for it. Sure, go fight a deadly robot war. Don't worry though, you're getting cash for doing it. So, hey, go risk your lives fighting robots.
Yeah, go.
This marks the beginning of the Gray Gravel Wars and the assault on Manco. Hey, you made it this far. Just want to say thanks. This video is just too big to fit into one, so tune in for part 2, and I'll go over the Gray Gravel Wars and everything up to the most recent issue of Team Fortress Comics.
Okay.
Still waiting on issue number 7. It's only been 3 years since the last issue of this
Only
bi-monthly
3.
comic came out anyway. Because hey, who needs lore when you have Artifact and Valve and their own thing? I don't care. Thanks for watching.
Warpugs. I knew Team Fortress 2 was ridiculous. I knew that going into this. I didn't know it was this. I didn't know. I just didn't know. Warpugs. If I had downloaded Team Fortress 2, I'd have so much fun. Just playing the stupid spy, playing the stupid engineer. My god, it's the funnest stuff ever. I always liked the soldier. I could never get into it. But now that I hear the lore, I kind of understand why. This is the most batty, insane setting, period. And I absolutely love it. I need to understand the obsession with the hats, though. That's the one part of this I've never been able to grasp. I need to understand the obsession with the hats before anything else. That way I can fully grasp this setting and enter in true nirvana. Warpugs, I'm gonna head out from here. I don't even know quite what to say about this. All of the links are going to be in the description down below, including my own and NISLTs. Go down there, check those out. I am so tired. I am so sorry, guys, if I'm not, not entirely lucid here, but wow. I will catch you guys next time. Time to go pass out.